You've heard it in the news, in the last couple of news bulletins. There was a stand-up, a presser from Justice Minister Paul Goldsmith and also the Ministry Advisory Group for Victims and Retail Crime Chair Sunny Korshall, unveiling new rules about how members of the public will be able to arrest people under a revamped law aimed to tackle retail crime. Now, we have discussed this quite a bit on the show. So I'm hot on retail crime and on crime because we're all experiencing it and we all pay for it, especially retail crime, because when they walk out with free groceries or whatever they're stealing, then the retailer puts the prices up and we pay for it. This New Zealand Ministry Advisory Group, or MAG, on retail crime was established last year, and it comprises of a few people in the industry, and their job was to advise the government on strategies to combat retail crime, violent retail crime. Sunny Korshall, I mentioned, is the chair. There's also Caroline Young, who's Chief Executive Retail New Zealand. There's a representative from Foodstuffs North Island and also someone from Michael Hill Jewellers. Ash Parmar is on MAG. He's a Waikato community advocate, a business leader. He's been a retailer for a very long time. He's a good friend of the show and he joins us now. Ash, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Leah.
Well, it's exciting to finally see something that you guys have been working on, be put to the government. And now Minister Goldsmith has stood up and announced today these reforms for this particular act. Can you walk us through what it actually means?
Yeah, definitely. But first of all, can I congratulate you on calling out correctly that all the looting and the shoplifting that happens, we all pay for it, including you and I, producer Kelly, and just about everyone else who's listening. It's not a victimless crime. Obviously, the retailers sort of face the trauma of when it happens. Yeah. But the insurance costs going up, the cost of goods that go, the breakages and all that, we all collectively pay for it. And during a cost of living crisis, it's just adding to the misery. In terms of the MAG, I have spoken to you in the past about retail crime, and we've been talking about, how I've been on this panel. Obviously, I can't go into the full detail of what we submit because that won't be appropriate. But right. The timing of this announcement today is just really, really good because in terms of that intervention, that's something us small retailers, and when I say small retailers, Leah, that's dairy owners, liquor store owners, have been asking for a long time because we cannot afford security guards. And quite often we can't even afford a second actually part-time or full-time worker in a working day because a lot of these businesses either run by mum and dad or one full-time staff and one part-time. So an ability to intervene is the need of the hour, but also Kiwis in general are sick and tired of just standing by watching people just fill up stuff for free and walk away, and no one seems to do anything, including the security guard. So it's good to have, I'm just looking at the press release as well, amending the Crimes Act 1961, Leah. Neither you and I were even born then. So, we're fixing some very old legislation. So being part of the Retail MAG, I'm very happy that our submission has been taken on board, and we look forward to changes because obviously this is just the start, right? Now it's going to go away for consultation. They'll write the bills and all that kind of stuff. So that all the slow process, but at least we're heading in the right direction.
Well, can I look at what, I'm looking at it as well, and the reforms announced this afternoon include changing the Crimes Act so citizens can intervene to stop any Crimes Act offence at any time of the day, because there was a strange rule, wasn't it, that you couldn't do a citizen's arrest unless it was at night.
Yeah, that's it. You could do it from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., which Minister Paul Goldsmith spoke at length as well. And I re-highlight the point. 1961, when this was last addressed, maybe, I don't know what the conditions were like. I wasn't born then. But things have changed dramatically since. But also, these changes will help in other ways as well, Leah. There's so many other instances where members of the public just can't intervene. They're so scared, that what's going to happen. Are they going to face any consequences?
Charges. Yeah, but
Yeah.
but the thing is a bit weird to me. There's a couple of things here. It says that Goldsmith said currently no one, including retailers and security guards, were protected from civil or criminal liability if they arrest or detain a person stealing. But then it says goods valued at less than $1,000 during the day. Is that the threshold that we can do the citizen's arrest? $1,000.
Well, that's what they've sort of got to propose now. And like I say, there's going to be a lot of talking and consultation back and forth. So what the end result might look like, we have to, I guess.
So
see.
these are just the ideas put. This is what he's saying they want to do, but it still has.
Yeah.
Does it still have to go through another proposal period?
Oh, 100%. There's going to be a
Yeah.
whole process, I'm sure.
Right.
And as most people will appreciate, it's not just up to the minister to announce the changes and it becomes a law. Him and the ministry will go away now, and I'm sure work very hard to actually take this to Parliament, to Cabinet, and actually and get it into law. So which we all will be watching. Yeah.
Do you know, Ash, then that says when it says goods valued at less than $1,000, is that part of it, or am I reading that in a wrong context?
Well, that's what we very specifically asked for, Leah, because a lot of the shoplifting and theft is well under $1,000. And
course.
As you and I in the past have spoken, a lot of the ram raids and robberies that happen, quite often they take a lot less than $1,000, but the damages they do is significantly more. And there's ample opportunity at the right moment for people to intervene, or the retailer themselves to intervene and stop them. I don't know if you recall this instance. I think it was 3-4 years ago, a bunch of tradies grabbed someone in Christchurch. This gentleman was running away with a bunch of trade tools, and they grabbed this guy and rang the police, and police basically said, well, you have to let him go because we don't have anyone to come there. But we might come across that issue going forward, but that's a separate navigable sector. A lot of people might be sitting there thinking, well, everyone's going to start making citizens arrests. Well, the police can't come, but that's another conversation. We can have that separate to it, but right now we need to actually focus on this. We need to empower Kiwis, including retailers and general public, to just stop the nonsense, really. Honestly, there's no other way to say it.
And also can require a person to make an arrest, contact the police and follow their instructions. Clarifying restraints can be used when reasonable when making an arrest, and changing the Defence of Property provisions in the Crime Act so it is clear that reasonable force may be used. Because, Ash, as a retailer that you have been for many, many years, if someone came in and robbed your store, you were not, under this current act, allowed to retaliate, are you? You're not allowed to pick up a baseball bat or, you're not allowed to use force, because then you're liable. You could end up being, you're liable yourself. You could end up in the hands of the law yourself.
100%. But also to clarify, Leah, I still remain a retailer, and I'm sitting in my liquor store talking to you. And if I put my thinking hat on, if someone came in, a group of 4 or 5 for an aggravated robbery, there's still a high probability I'm not going to intervene and use any of these provisions. I'm still going to comply. My training will kick in. But a lot of the real low-level stuff, because, ram raids and robberies, they get all the highlights, on 6 o'clock news, people see and go, oh, my God, what's happened, blah, blah, blah. But what we're talking about is significant low-level offending, which is happening at scale. And Retail NZ has put out some good data in that space, And this is, at the end of the day, our money. It's getting added to our weekly bills. And you have to understand it has to stop, or at the least minimize, Otherwise, it just carries on. And it's the same small number of offenders anyway.
So you're happy with this? This was something as the group, you're all putting in ideas that you see would minimise, as you've just said, retail crime. You're happy with this, but not everyone is. I see that Caroline Young, who's the Retail New Zealand chief exec and is on MAG with you guys, she's concerned. She says that it will empower people to physically restrain or physically engage with people, and it could create more violence and people will get hurt. What do you say to that?
I think in a way I already addressed it, Leah. Like I said to you before, if it was an aggravated robbery situation, any retail worker or retailer would use the training and the tools they already have in their minds and not engage in a tussle. But a lot of these small business owners